Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of High Top Sports. I'm in the studio with my main man, Steve. It's a wonderful Sunday afternoon, pre-4th of July Eve. Steve's already having malfunctions per usual. Do we expect anything less? Not really. Welcome to the show, guys. We got some good stuff going on. We have a 3-star that decommitted this past week, which I'm sure everybody heard about. We're going to break that down a little bit. We're going to go about AD Nick Saban. Yes, AD, after death. 2 conferences. You guys probably know what we're talking about with that as well. Big day tomorrow. We've got a commit that's going to be looking at us, so we're going to talk about that. Freeman is in jail and in prison, and we need to talk about releasing him. And then we're going to go over the Miami Hurricanes schedule. And we're going to kind of start like a little segment here on before the season starts, breaking out wins and losses and what do we think these guys' records going to end up being. We're going to go Florida, Florida State, the whole 9 yards, the fun schools. If you guys have any requests, we'll do that as well. But welcome to the podcast, guys. Thank you for stopping by, as always, on this Sunday afternoon with us. We appreciate it. Steve?
Good to see you guys, man. Shelton, my friend, it's been too long. I want to say it's almost to the point where we don't see each other enough. So
we've been seeing a lot more of each other lately with these improv lives and whatnot. We've been busy. We've been pumping out a lot of content, and we've been having a good time doing it. So we're gonna keep it rolling. I did a poll this today, and we're gonna see where we're at with the poll thus far. I asked, do you like USC and UCLA headed to the Big Ten? We've had 6 votes so far. It's 83% are saying yes, they like it. And we're going to get into more of that a little bit. Johnny, welcome to the cast, man. Welcome to the stream. Appreciate you stopping by, Bubba. Oh, I got something.
Johnny, what's up, my man? Good to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by.
Go Avs. Absolutely. Go Avs. Avs and 6. Never a doubt, boys and girls.
Never a doubt. Never a doubt. Avs and 6. What's up? Great job.
All right. So let's hop right into it. So Tommy Kinsler, the 3-star, he decommitted this past week, which, again, we've been hearing about it. Everyone's been talking about it. I wanted to kind of break it down a little bit, see where we are on the panic scale. Are we nervous? Are we, should we be panicking over this? He says with that we're still on the top of his leaderboard in the sense of he's wanting to stay with us. He was a pledge. And we literally just got talking about this. I want to say last episode on Wednesday, because somebody was kind of talking smack of, Miami's got more commits coming. And we even talked about, look, there's so much time left. And we were actually talking about Florida flipping guys over to come to Florida, one being Marcus Stokes, the quarterback from Nice, committed to Penn State. We didn't really dive into the fact that people could also flip from Florida. We nodded towards it. We didn't think it was going to happen this quickly. He was a 3-star recruit. Had a good outing in one of these camps, and a lot of people were kind of coming out and saying they feel like he's underrated a little bit. So maybe he felt that, look, maybe I'm not a 3-star guy. Maybe I am a 4-star guy, and I should go back out and kind of retest the waters to see if my value is higher than what it originally was when I first committed. And again, I think we're going to see a lot of that, especially more, I would say, honestly, by this, probably more with 3-starters are kind of on the edge of floating back and forth between a 3 and 4. We could see more of this. It's unfortunate. It's a bad timing. I think it's expected. Like we said, we know these things are going to happen. To me, it was just, could you pile on anymore?
I think that's the biggest part. It's not so much the recruit, right? And he's still in the game for Florida. It doesn't mean just because he decommitted that he's not going to be a Gator down the road. It's just the timing of after everything with Billy and some of the it's just been a bad wave. It's been a bad wave of news. It's been a bad wave of recruits moving on. The news cycle isn't really favoring him. And let's be honest, like you said, you Shelton have said multiple times, sometimes just having the hat on the table is what keeps that momentum going. And this is kind of the opposite direction. Like, it's just not a good part of the process if you keep having these big time guys who have a lot of attention go in the wrong direction. So
sure, absolutely. And Cody Sprague again, dude. This guy's the man. He's got to be the number one member of the High Top Sports. A $10 super chat from Cody. If he isn't a Gator, then he's Gator bait. Cody, appreciate it, man. There it is, filling up the tip jar. We love it. There it is. Fill her up, baby. Good
Where
stuff,
is it?
man. It's going across the screen right there. There it is. Little coin in there.
There it is. There it is.
There it is. Should fill a shot glass for you, Steve. Appreciate you, Cody, man. You're big support, man. We love it. But yeah, look, it's again, he is Gator bait. It is no big deal. And Muddy said he's going to Miami, and there we have another decommit, or in a sense a flip from Georgia. Can you tell me who that is, Steve?
Let's see who that is. It was an odd scenario. Came really out of nowhere.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, guys, so this happened precast. Steve is in a thunderstorm right now. His power went out precast, and it appears that it has went out again. So now we're going to have a frozen face of Steve. But I believe there was a 4-star safety or a linebacker that decommitted from Georgia and flipped to Miami. Miami is on an absolute tear right now, is basically what Steve was going to say. Of pulling recruits. I don't know if it's the crystal ball effect. I don't know if it's the money bag effect. I don't know what is happening. But, we got Frederick Williams from a Miami fan. From a Miami fan, I enjoy the show. Look, Frederick, we enjoy you, man. We're going to go over the Miami schedule and prediction. It might be just me right now. So we're going to hang on and do the best that I can to keep you guys entertained without Steve here, because it looks like his power went out. But honestly, I appreciate this, Steve. This vision of Steve. Okay, now it's two of me. We don't want any of that. Anyways, so we'll see what happens. I think it sucks to see. Hold on, I gotta do something here. This isn't gonna work. Let me see if I can get an image or something here to cover this up. Top sports image. Okay. All right. Sorry for the inconvenience, guys. We should have been prepared. All right. Anyways, his power went out. I want to say it did. Yep, power. Okay, so it's going to be just me for now, guys, until Steve can hop back on here. But look, it's frustrating to see him decommit. We expected this. We intended this, right? But again, it's more so of the timing of the situation of how this happened, where the frustration comes into play. It's definitely giving Miami fans and everyone else around us some fuel, and it's not helping the haters on the Billy train as well. Again, it's been hot and heavy lately for Billy, as we've talked about. I've seen in the Twitter feed. But again, patience is the biggest thing we keep preaching. But I kind of want to go over it a little bit. It's nothing groundbreaking, but we have been talking about, we have been seeing it. So I did want to get into that a little bit. Feinbaum, he's our favorite guy on the show. We talk about him constantly on here, on how he's doing and what he's got to say. And Gator fans are not fans of him, and rightfully so. Right, the guy can be very opinionated at times, but they asked him who do they think will fill in the shoes of Nick Saban. And so I did AD Nick Saban after death, right? Because I think the Nick Saban retiring train is closer than we think. If I had to pick an over/under between 3, let's give it 3 years. No, we'll do 5. We'll do 5. I think 5's a healthy number. I'm going to say under 5 for Nick's on the way out. I think this year is going to be interesting to see how he manages the portal and the NIL situation, and how he can handle this power conference that seems to be happening here over the next, couple of years. We'll see how that plays out. I think all these things that are lining up are changing the way that Saban has been operating for so long. And I don't think it's not the fact that Nick can't handle it. I think he could. The guy's great at what he does, but he's been doing it for one way for so long, and he's obviously getting older, that change is going to have an impact, right? And I think at some point, so look, I'm not willing to adjust and to grow with these changes. I've done enough, and I'm heading out. And that's why I really think 3 to me is tough. I think 3 might be the magic number if I had to guess, and that's why I picked with 5 and I went under. It might be an easy bet if it was on the betting staff or surfaces. I don't think the payout would be great on that. We're probably thinking like plus negative 110 for that. So we'll see. But they had some options. Paul Feinbaum suggests 4 names to be considered as Nick Saban. He was talking about sitting around a bunch of boosters for the Alabama Booster Club. And I guess Dabo Swinney used to be kind of high on that list of guys that we would love to go after. Recently here, he was kind of referring to that he's not as popular as he once was. The names that are on this list that he would keep his eye on over the next 2 to 3 years, right, which was what I just said, the 2 to 3 years. Uh-oh, Steve's back. Steve's back. Steve, we back on, Bubba? Steve? He's hopping on his phone. You're muted, Steve. There you go. All right. Oh, this is not the best view of Steve, but we'll take it. Steve, running on fumes over here, buddy. We moved on.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I got no power, man. I'm doing this off my cell phone alone.
That's fine. We're here. You sound great, so we're good. We turned you down just a little bit. But so we're going over the AD after death, Nick Saban, and we're talking a little bit about kind of, who's going to be that replacement. I was talking about the article that Feinbaum said who he's suggesting. Dabu was that guy originally. It seems to be they've kind of moved away from that. And so now the names that he's putting in that hat, this is where we should like Paul, right? I know we will always have to rag on Paul and, his hate for Florida, but his names are Cristobal, okay, who obviously coached under Saban, Billy, and Dave Arenado, and then I guess the one right now would be Bill O'Brien, would be the most serious candidate, simply on for kind of his situation. But it was cool to see the Billy's name on that list, right, of candidates like who Paul is considering could be ones to take that job. Now, I don't like that because obviously I don't want, and we lose Steve again, I don't want Billy to go to Bama. But if Paul Feinbaum is thinking that, hey, these guys are the ones to watch to take that position in Bama, that should tell you, hey, we should be trusting in this process, right? Again, I know we love to rag on Paul, and we kind of get frustrated with what he says. But if, again, he has two of these names, Cristobal and Billy Napier, their first year in these big programs, as ones to keep an eye on. Now, again, it's all potential. That should calm the nerves a little bit of where we're at in this Billy situation on, hey, what's going on here, right? Again, I don't want Billy to go to Bama. If that's the case of that he should be part of that conversation, we as Gator fans should be doing everything we can to hang on to him, right? Now, the next question would be, hey, if Billy or Cristobal create their own little dynasty, right, and kind of start that next wave of Saban-esque, right, in Florida or Miami, would you leave if you're one of those guys, right? Because now you've taken what you've learned and you've created your own here. Do you go to Alabama, which obviously has created its own little dynasty, and kind of take the reins? Because trying to fill in those shoes after Saban is going to be a hell in a handbasket, if you ask me, right? So it's going to be interesting. The biggest thing that I wanted to point out, the reason why I brought it up, was because I really enjoy the fact that Billy's on that list. I think we should, as Gator fans, should appreciate that and take that into consideration. If that's a good sign of things to come. So we'll see. Look, it's day by day right now, right? But we've been fun to rag on them and things like that. So I wanted to bring some positive light to the situation. Let's hop into the comments here for a minute. Let's see. We got Daniel, Andrew. What's going on, my dudes? Andrew, how's the baby, man? Good to see you. Mo Jr., whatever we need to get it on, go Gators. What's going on, man? Muddy Water, sorry. Yes, I'm going to get into that in a little bit. We're going to dive into that. That's going to be the big day. That's going to be tomorrow, so we'll go into that a little bit. Muddy says a 5-star O-lineman kid from IMG is going to Miami too. Cristobal is a former O-line and O-line coach, plus they have the same in connection with their O-line coach. Yeah, so something that was talked about with us losing Tommy Kinsler is we were looking to build a strong O-line, right? It was kind of campaign O-line heavy. And this Kinsler dropping out is a little concerning because that hurts the approach of building that dynasty of the O-line. So it's not great news. Let's see if Steve's trying to get back here. All right, Steve. Nice hair flip, bud. Welcome back.
My gosh. I'm doing my best here. The storms, we need the rain, but the worst timing ever. So I apologize for everybody.
Worst time. So we got Daniel, Clemson, Miami, FSU will leave the ACC. We're about to actually hop into that. We're leaving the Saban conversation right now. And Daniel says, it's not Napier's fault that what's going on in Florida. I think that's what people have to realize too, is it's too soon to blame it on the Napier situation right now. I think, look, part of it is we all came in, and I was talking, I don't know who I was talking about. I think I was talking last night. We went live last night and did a little blackjack gambling, and there's a few people in there we were talking about it. The thing that's been frustrating with me is I feel like as Gator fans, they're trying to say, they want to be on the side of I told you so, right? So it's cool to say Billy sucks, the recruiting's going to suck, we're going to suck. So on the chance that we do suck at the end of this year, they can come and say, I told you so, I've been saying it all along. Well, congratulations. What the hell do you win? If you're a Gator fan, what's the power to that? I'd rather go, yeah, I supported Billy from the beginning. I felt like we're going to have a great season. And then at the end of the year go, well, it sucks. It didn't pan out like we wanted it to be. And that's where we have we critique the situation. We break it down, say, hey, we could have improved here. We could have done better here, et cetera, et cetera. But to be able to say, oh, I told you so, to me, there's no value there. I'm all about being able to say I told you so, and hey, we did a great. I knew this was going to happen. But in this situation, when you're supporting your fan base, to me, it just seems over the top, and it seems to me like you're not really a true fan. If you're a Miami guy and you're an FSU guy and you want to come out here and say that and say, hey, I told you so, yeah, absolutely. If you want to come and say, hey, you guys suck, that you guys can't recruit, and then you were right at the end of the year, I get that. But if you're a Gator fan, what's the value of doing that? And that's kind of where I'm getting frustrated. It's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, it's exactly none. I mean, if you're a Gator fan and you have a new coach who's come in and look, I don't want Florida to win anything. I'll be honest with you. As an FSU fan, I don't want Florida to win.
All right, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna fly there, Steve. We're losing you there, bud. Hopefully he can get his internet back up. But yeah, I think that's fine. So again, we kind of been beating the dead horse, but I'm trying to kind of just settle it down here with the hate for Florida and Billy. We've got to be supportive of the situation. I'm all about being, critiquing the situation, but not right now. Let's see. 352 Sports says, not like there was anything better available, a coach better than Billy. If not Billy, then who else? And you can always do that. And that's my thing is like, look, I think it was a great hire. I'm ecstatic for it. I couldn't agree more. Like, where else would we go? I think there was other options for sure. I wouldn't want Brian Kelly, that's for sure. If people were thinking that was an option, I would take Billy over Cristobal because, if Cristobal was ever a discussion for it as well. So, Cody says, fans stand for fanatic, which fortunately that means we usually are too emotional of anything that has happened. That's a solid point. Like, as a fan, that's exactly right? We're meant to be that emotional standpoint. That's why we have, when it's rolling high, that's where we bring that momentum of excitement. So you have to, that's a great point, Cody. Like, you have to expect the alternative, right? Which is the lows, which is the criticism and the shit talking and coming after them, because when it's high and we're rolling, we're going to be there 1,010% screaming, hooting, and hollering. But you got to also realize that it's a roller coaster, and if it goes the other direction, we're going to be doing the exact same thing, but in a negative manner. So I appreciate you calling me out on that, Cody, because I agree. I think that is a huge point to look at as well. Excuse me. John says that cut off at the perfect time. Sure did. So next thing we want to get into, you guys have heard the news of USC and UCLA moving on. Let's see. I did a little poll here. Let's see where we're at with the poll really quick here on the voting on, are you guys liking USC and UCLA going to the Big Ten? It's 62% yes, 38% no. If you voted no and you're in here, I want to know why. And if you voted yes, I also want to know why. What's your reasons for not liking it? What's your reasons for liking it? I think, to me, I know as like in the seat, we're supposed to have a definite opinion or a fact of the matter of the situation. But to me, I don't know how to feel about it yet, to be perfectly honest with you. It's weird. I think you got two teams that are just completely over to the west. Like, it's not even close to play against Ohio State, the Michigan States, right? And just the Penn States in the cold weather. It doesn't make any sense to me. And that doesn't mean it can't happen, right? Change happens, but it's just the style of offense. It's the West Coast offense versus the non-West Coast. You know what I mean? It's all these things. Shake Money with the Super Chat $10 donation. My man. Thanks for blessing us with great Gators content. You guys are awesome. Even the FSU fan co-host. Well, much love, my man. Appreciate the donation. That's awesome. And he's a Dolphins fan. So appreciate it, Shake Money. You rock, but I appreciate you. Means a lot. You and Cody, you guys, get big support. We really appreciate it. If you guys want to show some more love and support, you guys can join the High Top membership. You're able to, by joining that membership, you can also have a chance to be on the show. So we're growing that membership, which is great. We just filled up the little tip jar there. So you guys rock. Thank you for the love and support. We really appreciate it. It means a lot. But so with the two conferences, so now it's obviously we're moving into the fact of where with the fact, that it could come down to just the Big Ten and the SEC. I don't think it gets to that. I think we might find ourselves into a Big Three power conference, right? Because the Pac-12 has made some moves. They added UCF, and I want to say a few more. The Pac-12 seems to be dwindling. You have your two big hitters that are leaving. The ACC, to me, is kind of deciding where they're going to go, right? The ACC doesn't really have any pull or play into this situation, in my opinion. But I believe that it's going to be. Shake Money became a member. Shake Money, welcome to. You just earned his wings, my baby. Love it, man. Thank you for joining. The little red piggy in there, man. You earned your wings. Congrats. Welcome to the family, dude. So I think with it going to 3 conferences, I can see that happening. Now, what does that play for the sport? What does that mean for the sport? I think it's going to be great for the sport. And here's why. We always have this conversation on voting players and teams in because based on strength of conference and schedule, right? So that always has a factor in there. It's been a conversation to the death of time that, well, the only reason they didn't get in because their schedule sucked, right? UCF has had this conversation. Boise has had this conversation. Cincinnati was in the same situation last year where they just didn't play a hard enough schedule and their conference was weak, right? So us dwindling it to 2 to 3 major conferences will be good from a competitive standpoint. I think you're going to. So here's where I'm kind of getting a little bit into the weeds because now it's going to happen, in my opinion. The top's going to get a little bit stronger in like the economy, and the bottom's going to get a lot weaker, right? The separation between the two is going to happen, I believe. That's the only downfall, right? But the conversation that we always argue is that, look, should Cincinnati really be taking a 4th spot from somebody who I felt like Oklahoma State should have been in because they had a big win at the end. Baylor, I think, was making a push last year, if I'm not mistaken. Ohio State was on the outside looking in. Again, I hate Ohio State, but it's fun to have them in the playoffs, right? I mean, we love it. It's just like when the Patriots were going to playoffs every year. Nobody wanted them to be there, but when they're not there, it's like, this feels weird. It feels like they should be there because we like a villain. We like to cheer against somebody. We like to watch somebody. We love to hate, right? Like I've mentioned plenty of times, I'm excited for Miami to be good again, the Hurricanes, because it's fun to watch somebody like that go into like a 9-0 and then lose like an upset game. I love that kind of stuff, right? USC, I would love for them to make the playoffs and get railroaded by a Georgia or a Bama. Like I live for those kind of things, right? So I think kind of lost where I was going there, but I think it's good for these guys to obviously grow. But the Cincinnati situation, because their schedule was obviously a little bit easier, they may have been taking a spot from somebody who we probably felt deserved it a little bit more because that schedule was harder. Well, by going to 2 or 3 conferences, I believe we go into that situation of, well, now it's the best of the best are going to be competing with the best of the best, and there's going to be no conversation, right? Now it's going to be interesting though, because right now by winning your conference, you guarantee yourself a bowl game. It obviously gives you some more points. Well, with less conferences, you're going to have less games. You're going to have less conference games being played, right? Which changes everything up a little bit. And so now that's where, to me, it's going to get dicey of, okay, if you're USC, right, and you're undefeated and you're going into the last game of the season, and if I lose this game, I don't have to play in the conference game, right? Okay, I lose this game, I don't play in the conference game, which is an extra game my guys have to play, which is another game that I can be losing, right? But if I lose this game, the team that beats me also has 1 loss, but then they're going to be facing a team that has 1 loss, right? Obviously, this is all hypothetical here, but try to stick with me. So now you have 2 teams going to the conference game. USC is sitting out watching from the outside in with only 1 loss. A losing team from that conference game is now going to have 2 losses, right? So, okay, we're going to say the conference winner has an automatic bid. Well, now you have a USC with 1 loss versus a team that just lost in the conference game. And that to me is where it's going to get dicey and fishy because right now, again, by winning your conference, you're fighting for that conference spot because there's everyone by winning their conference is getting an upper hand and an extra look at because that's an extra game that they're winning. Now, you always take that risk now by losing that game, but because there is so many conferences, that changes things. With only 2 to 3, if that's where it's headed, that to me is where it's going to get dicey. Where it's going to be, what's the need of winning? If it does get to 2, right, what's the benefit of winning the conference championship? Now it's going to come down to, okay, well, maybe if there's a playoff situation, it goes from 4 to 8, maybe by winning the conference, you get a bye. Cool. Makes total sense. But now we're changing the playoffs, right? So playoffs. So it's going to get slippery really, really fast. Obviously, it's not going to happen until 2024, but this is setting things into motion that this is where we're going to be in just in a year and a half time, right? So the NCAA, who we know from experience, does not act fast or move quickly. It's going to have to do all of these things very quickly because to me, I feel like it's going to get sloppier before it gets cleaner, but I think the direction, to me, in my opinion, is the right direction. from a sense of, look, they're kind of creating like the NFL. You got the AFC and the NFC, and then you kind of, now that's where it's going to be interesting too. They're going to start breaking the Big Ten up into kind of segments, right? You got the East, West, North. And now we're getting all over the place, and that's where I think it's trying to get to, which will be good. We're used to that. It's going to be fun to unfold all these things. I think the schools are kind of taking things in their own power to push their the direction they want to go to. But I think the ACC is a wrap. I think all those schools are going to be headed to the SEC with a matter of time, which again I'm going to love. We're going to play Florida. We already play Florida State, but we're going to be playing Miami every year now. We're going to play Georgia. I think it's going to come down to more of I guess, again, just the South versus how it is kind of now. So we probably won't be playing like Texas A&M as much. Missouri, we'll probably have pull a few of those out every now and then. Tennessee might not be a normal contender though because of that. I think like a South Carolina, Georgia, I think they're really going to work on. Clemson might be a new contender that falls into that category of the East side, right? It's all up in the air. It's all interesting. I know I've been rambling for a little bit here. I want to get into the comments to see what you guys think about this. And let me scroll back here and let's see what's going on here. You guys have been blowing it up, so I apologize if I've been on a little bit of a hot streak here. UF Short says expanded playoffs suck. I want to know what's your thoughts on that? I that's interesting to me. I think I haven't heard that opinion. I think it's great, but I want to hear why UF Shorts, why you think it sucks. I think that's something that it's interesting. Mo says, I'm not a fan of a super conference. Not everyone deserves to be in the SEC. See, that's interesting. I think the deserve thing, I don't like that mentality. Like I've always claimed we're the best. You should look at it as like, look, we're the best. Now people are trying to become part of that. Another super chat from the man Cody. What's Cody saying now? Cheers, everyone. Cheers, Cody. $10 from a man, Cody. You're the man, Cody. Appreciate you, Bubba. You were look, Cody, I'm going to see if I can add you, make you like a chat moderator because you're just an absolute super fan, and I couldn't appreciate you more, man. I love it. Thank you, Bubba. Gosh, guy's awesome, man. Filling up our little shot glass here. We got Shake Money. You donated and became a member today. Earned his wings. So welcome to the club, man. I appreciate you. Let me scroll back up here to the top. Sorry, guys. Cody says Shake Money with a money bag. Yeah, boys supporting the crew. I love it. Let's see here. Scared money don't make money? I got you, Mo.
Scared money don't make money, you know?
Man, 352 Sports also disagrees with expanding playoffs, as does Andrew. That is interesting, guys. I want to kind of break down a little bit why you think why that is. I haven't heard the opposing side much. I mean, again, the people I kind of surround myself with have all been a big fan of it. I mean, I'm a huge fan. And I'll tell you why if I can kind of get some examples of why you guys don't like it. Maybe I can speak to it a little bit more. Tim Lombardi says, it's a little concerning that Billy isn't closing on the important recruits. With that being said, I'm really looking forward to what he and Tony will do on the field. So, Tim, we talked about it. It is frustrating. I agree. I think why, too, he came in really hot, right? I think the hype behind him came in really hot. There was a ton of good news early on. Right? If we really think about this, he comes in, the scared money don't make money thing kind of takes off a little bit. Some Gator fans hated it per usual. But they made hoodies and made merch. Katie comes in, right? Kind of sets a tone with recruiting. They had a ton of hires, like a record breaking with hiring coaches and the money spent on nutrition and with the new facilities. It's just good news, right? Nothing bad's happening. We get Kamari Wilson, we break the IMG curse. Right? We're in the conversation for Kendrick Perkins, who was a 5-star linebacker. That was exciting, right? We land a few more. We get alos Boardingham, the wide receiver. So a lot of good things are going on very quickly, right? So how you look at it is that's that early impression, that early expectation. He came in here. So now we expect this all the time. So any bad news, it just seems like it's a complete disarray. If it all came in bad news, some of these things would be more expected, and then the good news that we're getting would be much greater. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it right now. It's way too soon for us to be having these swings of emotion, but like Cody said, we're fanatics, we're fans, that's what we're here for. So I understand, though, it is a little frustrating and sad that we're, not pulling like we'd like. If you guys are just joining in here and wondering where Holly is, right when the show started, his power went out. So I'm holding it down over here. He's in the comments if you guys want to chit-chat and holler at him. If you are brand new and you're liking what you're seeing, drop a like, drop a subscribe. And if you want to join and earn your wings, go ahead and do that as well. Let's see here. Here we go. Muddy Water said, I love this question. Would you rather watch random bowl games with players opting out for the NFL playoff type system Okay. Or NFL playoff type system. Sorry. Would you rather watch random bowl games with players opting out or NFL playoff type system? I'd rather watch the NFL system. And that's kind of where my head's at as well, too, buddy. Frederick says, from a Miami fan, I honestly believe it's going to take Mario 2 good years of hopefully stacking a top 5 recruiting class before we can talk about any kind of national championship talk. Frederick, I enjoy you, man. Look, that's a reasonable fan thinking there. I think I don't disagree with you. We're going to go over the Miami schedule and kind of predict how the Miami schedule is going to go out and how it falls, and I've got my opinions and thoughts on it, and we'll go over it. Frederick, if you want, you can toss some opinions in there as well. Mo Jr., I wish we could play Miami and UCF FSU every year. I agree. I think it needs to happen here eventually. Cody, NCAA basketball already does it, and baseball and hockey and football does it jacked up. Only football does it jacked up. Yeah, I agree. I mean, everyone else has it kind of dialed in on how it should be, on how the playoffs should work, etc. Totally agree. I mean, NCAA basketball is its own. It's not like a normal playoff system, right? Because it's the knockout system, which is not like a tiered how basketball in the NBA works, obviously, but it's a system that we die for as fans. So obviously, it's a winning formula and it's successful because it's absolutely incredible. That's great point, Cody. Great point. Appreciate the comments as well, man. Big fan. It's my boy right there. Let's see here. George, I can't chat right now, but I did hit the like button and I'm listening. Well, George, we appreciate you, man. Thank you. All right, UF Shorts. I don't like the super conference stuff. It's not college football. Ricky just got here. Ed DePriest, going to have to watch the replay. Guitar is in me and it's got to come out. Go Gators. All right, well, Ed, thanks for dropping by, man. You can watch it back. Let's see. Kerry Johnson, would you rather Miami or FSU in our pod? Both. I think they both should be in the pod. But for me, FSU. If I had to choose one, I would choose FSU. Okay, here we go. Andrew says, for someone who doesn't gamble, I feel like the expansion playoff is going to destroy the great, meaningful regular seasons to create a better opportunity for y'all to gamble on a big tournament. Okay. For someone who doesn't like gamble, I mean, people gamble on the bowl games now, though, Andrew. So I kind of disagree. Before the like the guys opting out and protecting their career, I mean, the bowl game is where the bettors lived. I mean, you lived for those games of the cross-conference games because that was where the kind of the shit-talking came from. I mean, you're talking shit to Oklahoma, the UCFs, right? And Florida had opportunity. The Oregon Ducks, the Ohio States, right? Because those are the only opportunities that we get to go play, and the SEC gets to kind of show out against other conferences. So I feel like it's already there. So Josh Epps says Nick Saban will never retire. Let's see. Thomas Cook, Canes 10-2. We're gonna get into that, Thomas. We're gonna break down the schedule here in a little bit. Yeah. So Buddy has a great question. So what happens to the MTW, AAC, and all those small teams? Will they stay Division I or they go to another division because they're with the mega conferences, they'll have no shot at playoffs? I think they drop down. And that's what I like too, is that again, it's going to force those guys, look, either you can come play with the big dogs and you're probably going to eat at the bottom for a little while, right? That you're going to come into this bigger weight class and have to work your way up, or you fall down and you go dominate in those divisions. It's going to be a tough decision for them, but I think that's where it needs to happen. December Madness from Cody. Good vibes from Elizabeth. J-Boy 1900 9-3 for the Gators. I like those odds there. Like those odds. So look, I think those are all good takes from the conference's standpoint. We've got some big news happening tomorrow. A big day. We've got. Let me make sure I say his name right because I obviously always butcher this here. Let me see here. I think it's DeQuavion. So let me see here. See here before I mess it. I don't want to mess his name up. Okay. All right, guys. DeQuavius Sori. He is I want to say 3-star wide receiver, if I'm not mistaken. 4-star? 3-star? 4-star. 4-star. He is committing tomorrow. So make sure you guys tune in. Follow him on Twitter. Go show some love. Go tweet at him. Let's look. We're all part of this recruiting process. I mean, if you think that we have all seen how our negativity has pushed somebody away. We've got to believe that positivity could also have an impact on bringing them in. So go show them some love. Again, Daquavius, sorry, hopefully I'm saying that properly. But it looks like we're making a little bit of a tear here on his top 4. He left the Seminoles out of his top 4. Florida's making a high run. He was committed to Georgia for a year, but he backed off his pledge in February. So again, just like with Tommy Kinsler, same situations happening here. Georgia has having him and another guy who just flipped today to Miami. So it's going to happen to everybody. Right now, everyone's projecting, 247 is projecting him to pick Florida over Bama, Auburn, and Miami. Auburn's making a big run too. It looks like it's between basically the Florida and Auburn. We've all know this. Pulling a wide receiver would be huge right now. So that's been our biggest point of weakness, our biggest point of emphasis that we've talked about as Gator fans of like, look, the O-line's great. The quarterback, getting a great quarterback is good. We've been doing a great job on the defensive side, if I don't say so myself. The running back room, as we've talked about multiple times, is thick and healthy. Even with DeMarcus Bowman leaving to the UCF, I believe it's still a very thick and healthy room with Naquan, Montrell, and Lorenzo, and Trevor Etienne. Hopefully I said that right, all filling up the room. And we still have got Cedric Baxter and Trayon Webb, who are high on our list at the moment for this upcoming season. So wide receiver is definitely where we're looking glim, or however we want to say it at the moment. So that would be a huge pull for us. I think that would settle the haters if we could get that pull as well. It would settle down everyone for a little bit. Look, this is why I was big on the Rashada thing. And a lot of people kind of came in there and said, who cares? It doesn't matter. It's just a 4-star guy. He didn't do well in the Elite 11 camp this past week. And everyone's like, see, told you so, et cetera, et cetera. All those things are very true. And I never disagree with any of those things. Steve is back here. Hold on, Steve. I never disagree with any of those things. But what I was saying, and again, it's the Manning effect that's been going around. Arch Manning, when he committed to Texas, not sure if you guys saw, but they landed a 5-star wide receiver and a 5-star running back. If you don't believe that the fact that Manning committed, that those guys didn't follow suit which put Texas into a top 3, you're out of your mind. So that was where I was really heavy on getting Rashada. And for people to not think that, look, Rashada landing at Miami hasn't, allowed these guys to start flipping because, look, they like where the direction's going. It's all that momentum that's needed. And that's where I think people are getting frustrated, and that was where I was really heavy on getting him. It's not like I'm freaking out because it's a 4-star quarterback. It's more a sense for the marketing process. Let's get Steve in here. Steve, you got your internet back, Bubba? I can't hear you, so don't even bother talking right now. Hold on. I got to try to find you here, buddy. Stevie?
There we go.
Welcome to the show, Steve. We've been holding it down without you, buddy.
Back in the game, my gosh. JEA is not doing me any favors here whatsoever, guys. Sorry about that.
While you're away, we got a super chat from two $10 super chats from Cody Sprock, because the guy's the man. Shake Money donated $10 and became a member. As you can see, a little red piggy came in there. So I wanted to let you know so you could go and show them some love if you didn't see the love.
Cody and Shake, thank you guys so much. Appreciate you having.
Big fans, and we appreciate it. So he says, I love it even with an FSU co-host, is what Shake said. So they're big support there, big love. So we appreciate it, guys. Thanks so much.
Absolutely.
We were just talking, Steve, while you were away, about the tomorrow. We've got Daquavius Sorey, who's going to be committing tomorrow. I was kind of just letting everybody to tune in. You missed the conference talk, which I knew you were really excited about.
I was.
I went on a tear, just rambling on about it. I don't know. I talked a little bit about the fact that wow, Muddy. Steve appreciates it. That hurts me, Muddy. That hurts me. He says, without Hung on the show, it's like watching The Office without Steve Carell. That's brutal, Muddy. I mean, I get it. I appreciate
bring it home, Muddy. Bring it home, Muddy, baby.
Hurts, Muddy. That hurts. That hurts. But so go ahead, Steve. Give your takes on it because they love you anyways on the two conferences.
Not to be redundant, and I'm not sure what you covered, while I was away. But I mean, look, it's getting to the point where the NCAA has no leverage at all. The actual NCAA in football has zero leverage on any of these top level programs. The money is too big. The contracts, even for the networks, is too big. It's just a strange world where the NCAA doesn't actually get to control college football. But just like basketball and soccer and things like that. Like they've always have a hand in the play. Not anymore. Not anymore. The NCAA has literally lost their presence in this environment. And the fact that the Big Ten and the SEC are making the push that they are, it's remarkable that we're seeing this kind of traction. Texas, Oklahoma going to the SEC. Look, we had a tell. Nebraska leaving the Big Ten or the Big 12 a while back. I mean, that should have been a tell for everybody. This is going to be a system in which there is a super conference with pods. That's it. There's no other scenario that would make sense in the next 3 to 5 to 8 years. Right. And the fact that that money, the SEC, the Big Ten, the Big 12, the Texas network really is what it boiled down to. The fact that they have been able to just neuter the NCAA is unbelievable. And watching it happen, I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know how it's going to end. But watching it happen has been hilariously funny because no one who was a college football fan has ever said the NCAA got it right on anything. Anything.
So Muddy brings a good point, too. He says, what's the best fit for Notre Dame, SEC or Big Ten? Hope the SEC gets them. And look, Notre Dame's in a weird position. They're like the Arch Manning of football teams because – wherever they go, they're going to bring kind of the branding, right? There was a link or a list that came out from Big Game Boomer. Real quick, you guys.
Who's that guy?
We've roasted Big Game Boomer and have had our opinions about Big Game Boomer plenty of times. And hey, I hopped on one of his Twitter Spaces the other day, and we chatted. We had some fun banter, and he's going to be on the show in a few weeks on the July 13th is what we've established. So we'll finalize that and we'll start pushing that out there. But make sure you guys come in. Don't come in too hot and heavy. Let's take it easy. I know we can be little savages. But the list I believe was top 3 brands. I know Texas was one. I don't remember. Notre Dame should have been up there if they weren't up there. Notre Dame should have been up there. My goodness, Tim Lombardi with the donation of the day, $20. Tim,
Tim,
you guys
let's
are
go,
killing
baby.
it, man. Love it, Tim. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate the support. That means a lot to us. We try to come on here and have a good time and give you guys good content, and that tells us we're doing a good job and that you guys appreciate it, and that means a lot. So thank you so much. You and Cody with top 2 today with $20. That's huge. There he goes. There goes the money.
Cody,
and if you're not a member, man, if you want to join and earn your
guys.
wings, you can get a little piggy next to your name and become a member. That's up to you, man. But there's a link in the description if you want to join as well. But yeah, it's. I got sidetracked there a little bit, but where was I headed, Steve?
I have no clue.
Okay.
No clue. I just jumped on. Remember the whole part where I didn't have
fair.
Electricity for a minute? Yeah, okay.
That's fair. Tim threw me off my game. I was talking about Notre Dame. So Notre Dame is going to be a hot commodity on where they go because they're going to bring the TV rights, and every game. I mean, Notre Dame is always on primetime for the most part. I mean, to me, they're like the Cowboys of college football. They're America's team. And so it'll be great for the SEC because anyone that's playing, and the SEC network, whoever's playing them, is going to be huge. So it's going to be funny because which division is going to give Notre Dame the biggest NIL deal? It's kind of where we're at. You know what I mean? So it's going to be fun to see how that plays out. But do I want them as an SEC? I don't. From a business standpoint, yes. Do I care? Because not really, because I always feel like they get so much love because they are America's team and just so much. I mean, you hate them.
I hate him. Well, I don't hate him. Look, I mean, FSU and Notre Dame have a history of just going back and forth at one another. But the thing to consider here is it's not about Notre Dame being an independent and can pick where they go. Right now, they're 90% ACC. The only thing they're not a ACC like a conference member is football.
Yeah.
But that's also because they have a contract with NBC. They have a football contract with NBC. NBC is the only one that they will like broadcast their home games. So now you're talking about like, CBS has rights to certain SEC games. Obviously, ESPN and ABC
So do you
have
think
rights to
Notre
certain
Dame,
games.
Notre Dame goes where they go? They're going to bring that TV contract to that conference.
No, that's what I mean. It's probably going to break that contract.
Oh,
It's going to because how as Notre Dame do you go to another conference with rights to television?
so do you
And
think?
you're still over here in NBC. Like NBC isn't broadcasting any other college football games. That's the only college football game, minus the Army game, Army Navy game. But so that there's going to be a violation of rights in order for Notre Dame to move. Could they pay it out? Sure. I'm sure that that's a non-starter when it comes to money. But if that was the case, the ACC would have already bought them out ahead of time. Like we would have done this 3-4 years
Sure.
ago.
So Notre Dame honestly could just continue to be Notre Dame and just do their own.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Their own drum.
They could just be their own thing, except for the fact, however, is as we get bigger into the super conferences, and now you start to realize that like you're only going to get into bowl games based on if you're in this conference. It's going to be the thing that finally breaks Notre Dame to say we have to be somewhere other than independent. Think about it. There's not a lot of independent schools. BYU was for a long time. FSU was for a long time. But Notre Dame's, I think, is the most predominant school that is still independent. So I think what's going to happen is that Notre Dame's not going to have a choice, even with all the money that school makes for themselves. They're gonna have to make a decision here soon.
I want to dive into that too. We talked about that while you were on your hiatus when you were on break. We just had a new subscriber, Ryan, and then Cody. I guess he's not giving away the top donation. He donated another $10. We gotta put him on the bottom here. This guy, he said beer money. That's for you, Steve. Beer money. Top donator of the day, $30 from Cody. Cody's a big fan, man. Appreciate you, Cody. You're the man this evening. But this is what I was talking about while you were on your hiatus /break, taking to 15, is with the conferences, right? This is where to me it's going to get dicey because right now to make a playoff, right, to get to the playoffs, the top 4 playoff spots, you winning that conference game matters, and that's where Notre Dame has always had a little bit of an issue because they don't have a conference game, so that hurts them. It's always hurt them. It can help sometimes, right? Because if there's somebody in front of them that loses, then it helps. But now there's only going to be 2 conferences. I was talking about how they've got to have to figure it out where the pods come into play a little bit, where you're winning the East and the West, and that's your conference championship versus what it is now. Which again, and this is kind of where I was like, look, there's a lot that has to get done, but they're going to have to because of the way things are headed. I think why Notre Dame is going to have to go is because of the value of winning your conference, the East or West or whatever, is the value of winning that game to put you into a playoff spot is going to be bigger than what it is now. Because when everyone's in the same conference, the whole, well, that schedule is easier and that schedule is harder, goes by the wayside now. And if you have one team outside of that gets to handpick their schedule every year, i.e. Notre Dame, that's going to have, to me, I mean, they're always going to have the Notre Dame effect where they're going to get the picks, but it's going to have a negative impact on their, I think. I think they might try it as long as they can, and if they start to realize, like, look, it's hurting us more than it's helping us, we have to make a decision. which it's crazy, man. I mean, this is how it's been for so long. It doesn't mean it's a bad thing, but it's weird to get used to.
Yeah. The problem with Notre Dame and the enigmatic problem of Notre Dame is always going to be that they have so much money and such a rich alumni history that they're never going to be forced into making a decision they don't want to make. They have their own TV contract. They have been around since forever. I mean, like we're talking about like Newt Rockne, the win-win for the Gipper. Like Notre Dame has been there as long as you watch college football now because of what Notre Dame was doing then. So it's you're not going to force them into anything. They have such a strong fan base. They have such a strong commitment to their football program. And they just they just have money. They just have money. So a lot of schools who may feel like the need or the pressure, or if we don't make this move, we're going to get left out. Notre Dame never feels that way. They might eventually, but it's going to be a long time from now.
And Ushi
to feel that way. Yeah.
Ushi, hopefully I said that right. Ushi, hopefully I said that right. He says Notre Dame will have a harder time getting a schedule when everyone ends up playing all conference schedules. And that's to me is where they're going. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of how long do they try to not fall into that realm. But I mean, they've been able to kind of do what they want now. But I think once everything's controlled by 2 or 3, I think it's going to go to 3 conferences. I don't think it's going to be 2. I think the Big 12 will function as its own. Even though people are leaving Big 12, people are also going to the Big 12. I think the Pac-12 needs to hurry up and figure out where they're going to go. So does the ACC. I mean, you've got those 2 conferences where nobody's even they're running away from it faster than get to it. Those 2 got to figure it out pretty quickly. So
the fact that UCF didn't apply to be a school for the ACC, granted we didn't really have room, but they didn't even apply. UCF didn't apply to be in the ACC. That's a tell. That means that if you're in the ACC, if you're an FSU, if you're a Clemson, Virginia,
find a new home.
You need to be like every day when you wake up, you need to be thinking about where home is next year.
Yeah, Tim Lombardi, who's a super chat fan, he said, with all teams coming up to the SEC, we should have the SEC broken into East. What just happened? Tim Lombardi became a member. He earned his wings, ladies and gentlemen. Give me the red piggy. Landed in the cup. Boom. Banger. Tim, welcome to the family, man. You earned your wings. Loving it. He says we should have the SEC broken in East, West, North, and South. Every team is going to be going to the West. Yeah, it's going to have to be. And that's what I was saying. I'm like, look, if like the Miami and Florida State joins the SEC, it's going to be fun because the East, to me, in my opinion, is going to be Florida, Florida State, Miami, Georgia, South Carolina, and possibly Clemson, right? That's going to be that Eastern quadrant or pod, I guess you can say. And it's going to be fun. I'm going to admit, I mean, Georgia should still be in that list, obviously. The Tennessee and Kentucky, those 2 games I love, those might go by the wayside. Hopefully not, but they shouldn't because that's only 6 games that we're doing there, so they shouldn't go to the wayside. But it won't be that inner, rivalry because we won't be all in the East. Right, as of now, we can fit with them. Vanderbilt will still be on our side. We'll probably still play Vanderbilt, but like the Mizzou is obviously we play Mizzou every year. I doubt we play Mizzou every year, which I don't care about that. Texas A&M,
they end up in the West, some Western Conference.
Yeah, LSU's on the West side, so that would probably still, but that wouldn't really affect us, and we'll probably still have them on the schedule. And again, it'll just get rid of those like random games that are there now. So. It's gonna be fun, and somebody at Huff said it's 2022 shit's weird as it is. It's crazy to see. The NIL, we've talked about it. We knew it was gonna blow things up, and that's all that it is. B Bean, go Gators, baby! Come on, you.
Scared money don't make.
I need a go Gators button. That's what we need. Look. I'll get you a fight for FSU button. I don't know if it'll ever be hit, but I'll get you a button.
Fight for FSU. That's the button. There you go.
That's the button. That's the button. Great topic, guys. Appreciate y'all chiming in on this. I think it's a fun one. That's why we wanted to bring it up. I mean, everybody's talking about it, but it's just right now there's just so many ways and windows you can go to. We've got to talk about it. We cannot not talk about it. So I had fun talking about it. I'm sure we'll get brought back up before we move on. Real quick, Freeman, we've got some Braves in here. I'm a big Braves guy, as you guys can tell. I ain't got the light on today. That's on my bad. I got the shirt on, though. You guys can see. I got the shirt on. So Steve's a Cubs fan. We're not going to get into that. But the Freeman drama has been fun. We didn't really talk about it too much when it happened on Wednesday because we did a little bit of talking about when it first happened. But it's strange. It's a weird situation of, like, we broke up when we shouldn't have broke up. And now it's like, well, should we get back together? Because I realized that you loved me and I loved you. I didn't do my job of finding out if we should stay together, and I moved on before you moved on, but you didn't want to move on, and I didn't want to move on.
Yeah, this is a country song being begged,
right?
being begged to be made right now.
And a dog, and we're there. I mean,
I'm
the
sure
guy
he
has
is a
been
dog.
an emotional wreck. Can't be doing things well. He did come out yesterday and said, "I'm over it. It's done and over with. It's under the bridge in a sense. I'm ready to go win some rings with the Dodgers." And he has to be. He knows that because. Look! When everyone Caitlin, my wife, she asked me, she's like, "Do you want to get Freeman back? Like, what if you guys just traded Freeman for Olsen?" I'm like, "No," because I still feel like we won. Like, it sucked to see Freeman go, and it was heartbreaking. Like, don't get me wrong, but I was like, when that happened, I remember when I told you, I was like, "Look, yeah. I didn't want to pay Freddie his old ass anyways." So, and Matt's been balling, bro. That has been overlooked because during this whole thing, the whole saga, him coming back to the Braves, and everyone basically just cheered on Freddie. Matt just kind of just slid to the side and just balled out, absolutely balled out.
Yeah, but you said you didn't want Freddie after you thought he didn't want you, and like you basically were the mouthpiece of like every breakup in the history of any.
No.
You didn't want him. You didn't want him.
No.
You didn't want him until you thought he didn't want you either.
I didn't want him
And then when he was crying,
I didn't want him
when
more.
he was crying on the field to get that ring, you were like, we should have never done this.
No, you're just making stuff up at this point. You're making stuff up.
That's true.
You can roll the
True.
clip. Literally go. I was like, you like when you at the point of like he was crying and all that stuff. That's where you lost it. Like I was like, you had an argument, and I was like, you're reaching now. I'm not even gonna play into that. That was nonsense. Look, I know that everyone's a Braves fan. Everyone's mostly football fans here, but we like to. I mean, Braves are my home, so I wanted to go over that. We're gonna have a little segment here. We're gonna start doing a breakdown on the schedules. We're going to go and give our opinion on who we think is going to, the schedules are going to play out. And the first one being the Miami Hurricanes, the hottest team on the internet right now. Yeah, that's right. The hottest team to since sliced bread. And we're gonna go over that.
They are hot. They are hot. Look, let's not kid ourselves. Those guys are talented. We don't give them a lot of respect.
Hold on,
here.
something just happened. Okay, never mind. A bunch of money's just... Oh, I think it's just filling our cup back up. I was like, what is going on here? Look at us. That's all of our donations filling up the cup. I was like, whoa! That's just over the show. It's doing one big fill. One big fill there.
Interesting. Look, we don't give Miami enough credit here. Like we talk a lot about like Florida. We talk a lot about Florida State. But we don't bring up Miami very much unless it's like just kind of a jab at somebody who's who may be in the comments, which we love you guys. We're always love it, but we don't bring those guys up very much. They're a very, very talented team, and I hate to say that. I hate walking into next year.
Yeah, look, they're the hot team right now, so we're gonna give them some love, and we're gonna Steve's gonna have a hard time doing this, so I'm gonna kind of push the envelope here on what I think is going to happen, but we're going to predict what we feel the schedule is going to be. If you guys have a strong opinion on one particular game, let us know, but we're going to dive right into it. So game 1, September 3rd, Florida's playing Utah. Speaking of Florida playing Utah, it's the simulation that Steve was excited to watch. Utah versus Florida, the NCAA version. Florida won 23-20, so just want to let you guys know.
Yeah, you ruined that for me, by the way. I sent it to you. You're like, oh, I've already seen it.
I just fast forwarded to the end. I just want to see who won. I didn't even watch it.
You don't care about the process. All right, let's go.
It's a game. Okay, Bethune-Cookman. To me, that's a W. We can talk about it, but I think that should hopefully be a shoo-in. I think what's going to happen, and we're gonna obviously break it down. Miami's going to go on a burner. There's going to be a game where they shouldn't lose, and they're going to lose, and that's what I'm looking to find. That's where my focus is. There's going to be a game or two that they are going to lose.
Like a Jacksonville State kind of thing.
Correct, right? Where they're coming in like nobody's even thinking about it, and we're gonna get an alert on Saturday at like it's gonna be like a noon game. We're gonna get an alert at like 2:15 saying, let me see here. The Memphis, Tennessee is 2 minutes away from upsetting the undefeated Miami Hurricanes. That's what I'm feeling. That might be too soon. It could even be a Pitt. Could be the situation.
See.
Or Georgia Tech. But I'm getting ahead of myself.
Focus.
Sorry. So we're in agreement. Bethune-Cookman, W. We're in agreement. Okay.
Agreement. Yep.
Southern Miss. That is Southern Miss, right? It looks like Southern Miss.
That is, yeah. The whatever. Angry Hawks.
What are you feeling with Southern Miss here?
So I feel like they win, but they win slight. They win slight because they're looking ahead.
They're focused here. So could this be one of those games they kind of lose it, you're thinking, or you're thinking still a dub?
No, I think they still W.
What's they still 23-20?
Yeah, it's like one of those things where it's like, a field goal, or maybe they just hold like a 7-point lead in the fourth quarter and they just continue to maintain it.
It's not a flashy win, but they get it's a grind win. Okay.
Right, exactly.
I respect that. That's a healthy pick. We'll give them a W there. That was good, Steve. Well, good take. Texas A&M.
Oh boy.
And that's that's at Texas A&M.
It's at that is an environment too. It's not like if Texas A&M was going to Coral Gables that they're worried about the environment, but going to the 11th man.
12 man,
I'm going to give them the L.
12 man, Steve.
12th man, yeah, but you know what I mean. No, they don't win that game.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the L, but it's not going to be a bad L. I think, again, Frederick, who's a Miami fan, says, I think it's going to be a 2 to 3 year process, and this is part of that process. Look, losing this game means nothing. This is where I do love where college football has gone is, back during the 06 run for the Gators, during that 4-year stretch of Tebow, if you didn't go undefeated, now we did one of the years we did lose a game, but you basically had to go undefeated. And it's exhausting when you have to go undefeated. It just kind of, you can't have a bad game because then the rest of the season's washed. Not anymore. So I like that.
Well, I think for Miami, what they need to really focus on is they've got to win a conference championship. And we'll get to that as we go down to the bottom of the schedule. But they haven't won a conference championship since they've even been in the ACC. So before they get to the national mindset, win the conference, and they haven't done that.
B. Bean says, how I predicted a Miami loss. Shocker. Look, I think we're all in agreement here. Look, they win this game, it could get scary really fast, and the Miami fans are going to be loud and hollering. The next we've got a Memphis, Tennessee. We're throwing a W. I'm not even going to waste our time, Steve. That's at home. That's back at home. I don't think this is that game where they fall short. Now, look, it could happen where they lose this game and they're kind of a little bit of a hangover and they come here and lose this game. That's possible. That's not crazy to think or believe, but I'm going to go off and say that's a W here.
Confident,
a lot of home games. North Carolina, I'm going to say the same. I think with what's his face, the quarterback. He's gone, right?
Yeah, Sam Howell.
Sam, that's right.
Yeah,
he's out of there, right?
He's not there. He went to the NFL. And gosh, without that,
that was a Lord Savior. He was their guy.
And look, in Miami keeps Van Dyke. He's good. He's good. So you get some stability out of the quarterback position from Miami, and not so much North Carolina. I'll take a W there.
Okay. V-Tech at Virginia Tech. This is the game to me that gets dicey. This is the game.
It
It's
is.
like, for Virginia Tech, to me, it's Virginia Tech and Miami is like FSU and Florida, or like that's a bad example. It's like Florida, Tennessee, Florida, Kentucky, where the game, the Florida should always win those games. Miami should always win those games, right? When the years they should be winning those games, but because it's Virginia Tech and because it's Tennessee and Kentucky, the game is always going to be played hard. And I feel like this is going to be, again, if this is the record that they're pulling here, it depends on where VTech is at, but it could be, I'm feeling like a 7:30 game at VTech. That stadium gets a little bit of a ruckus at night. It gets a bumping. Aren't they the Sandman?
Inner Sandman.
That's
that's
right.
their that's
Dude,
that's their thing,
bro.
Oh,
Electric.
dude, they bounce around. They
Yes.
go bananas. And for Vatech being in the ACC, they moved at the same time as Miami. So they have been playing Miami since they were in the whatever the heck that conference was before. Atlantic something. But now, look, Vatech in Miami have been their own little off the side that nobody cares about rivalry for a long time. And that game in Vatech, I would be willing to bet it ends up being at night. Whoo, man, that intro is good.
What do you think?
Oof. I'm gonna L them.
I kind of want to too, because I know my picks for the rest of this.
Yes, BB. Yeah, you're right. The Big East. Yeah, it's been gone for so long that I haven't paid much attention to it.
I have my picks. I'm gonna say an L here. I think it's a stretch. I do. But I'm kind of playing a little bit of hardball. This is where I think the bias comes into play. Look, the reason I'm picking this is it's that game that I said where they get caught on their heels. That's my reason for this pick. I don't think they should lose this game, but history shows me. And again, it's a new team, new coach, right? And I look, I've preached about this the other day about Florida, how we're like, I've been a Florida fan forever. We're always the same every year. Well, things change, but there's just something about Miami. They find a way to choke. And until they prove to me otherwise, that's why this pick is here. Okay. Duke at home. Now, again, these losses could just stack up. But look, the goal is to win the ACC. So I'm thinking this is an easy W
there. Easy W.
Because right now we only have one loss in the ACC. And I don't think who was in it last. It was Wake Forest and Pitt, right? Were the two competitors that played. And Pitt's not going to have the season they did last year. Neither is Wake Forest. Georgia Tech's not going to be anything. Virginia V Tech. So this one loss isn't going to hurt their chances of that conference game, and they know that. That's their second. Their second conference game too.
Yeah, that's it. That's crazy. I mean, at that point, they've only played three. But they go.
No, I'm talking Virginia Tech. Sorry, that's what I mean. Their second conference game.
Yeah, they go their first 4 games. None of them are conference. Yeah, and then they go 3 straight. 4 or 5. Oh, that's it. The rest of the way home. So you got to hope that that your mindset's right and you're not losing people. Folks that you need to be.
They've got a lot of home games, but it looks to me like the away games are the tough games.
Gosh, yeah.
Virginia Tech and Virginia away. I mean, if you lose at Virginia Tech and then you head to Virginia away, it could get ugly fast. It's just, look, it's one of those games. It's like a Tennessee, Kentucky. That's all that it is. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to say Miami sucks, but it's just one of those games that those teams play hard, and if they know they can go in and ruin Miami's day, things change. Changes everything. Changes the whole feel of the situation. So I think they get the W here, though. What do you think?
Yeah. Virginia, yes. Virginia had a really good quarterback last year, and just their overall team just kind of it just played well. It just all synchronized well. No real the star that you're gonna like, wow, this guy's gonna just blow the top off. But all of them together played really good football. So yeah, I'm gonna give Miami the W there, but it's gonna be a tough game. That's gonna be a tough game.
Okay, this one's an easy one for me. I don't even need to talk about it. Let me go ahead and just. All right, you good, Steve? You want to move on from there?
I'm good with that. Nope. We
talk
we
about
can
it.
put a we can well, no, we don't have
Let's
to talk
about
about it. I mean, look, last
This
year
might be
it-
the 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. That might be the 9th loss for Florida State at that point.
potentially.
Yeah,
Look, I mean,
in Miami, Florida
last
State's gonna get
year,
railroaded.
yeah. I mean, like it was a nail biter last year, with Miami basically like kind of giving us the game. I mean, I think they threw 5 interceptions or 4 interceptions in the first half alone. I mean, and we still only won by like the last second. So if that's the case, and
5-2,
you
says,
just
"Come on, Steve,
expect,
fight
yeah,
it."
you expect that Miami's not going to do that again, then I would give them the W at home against FSU.
Okay, we'll move on from there. I won't beat you up too bad about it, Steve. Georgia Tech. This is an easy one for me. I mean, that should be a shoe in. This is the game that I don't feel that they blow. This is where the ACC kind of gets soft to me, but that's not much on that one. Clemson, to me, look, Clemson, they don't feel like a powerhouse unless the only way DJ, I can't say his last name, the quarterback.
Nobody can.
If he can get it going, but I don't think he's the guy, but if he can get it going, it could be a different conversation. But look, I'm high on Miami. The reason I have these L's here are I think A&M is a great football team, and I think the VTech is going to be one of those where Miami's, right? But I'm taking the W over Clemson.
They're at Clemson?
Yeah.
Ooh.
What do you think?
I mean, you've already got the W there. I'm 50-50. We'll have to see how no. We'll have to see how Van Dyke plays, how the wide receivers like.
Look, I think Chris Ball is going to get that going. I don't think Clemson. Look, DJ didn't show me any good signs to where I don't feel comfortable with it.
I get that, but at the same time,
we've got a lot of people in the chat saying an L. So I told them if they had some hotness on there that I would follow along. So if they're saying L,
my only concern with that W is it's at Clemson. Clemson has consistency with their coaching staff, even with their quarterback, who has been less than what we thought. But Miami's bringing in a new staff, sometimes you just don't know how that translates. And in a game like that,
I agree. That's a good point. I
in a game like that, I just feel like a Clemson who's a national championship caliber team who's been in that level of game at the end of the year. It's not the beginning of the year. This is the end of the year. This is when you're starting to get refined.
I like it.
Yeah.
You won. You don't have to keep selling me. You close.
Oh my gosh!
Learn when to collect the
first pay. I got points here.
Pitt. So this is the reason why I was kind of hesitant because I had a feeling of 9-3. This puts them at 8-4 because I have a feeling there's a loss at Pitt. I know Kenny Pickett's gone. Their backup quarterback isn't no slouch either. I watched him in the bowl game last year before he got hurt. He was doing well. Now they did lose their wide receiver, and it is at home, and that game could be a deciding factor. So I'm gonna go ahead and give a W. Actually, I just talked myself out of it. I forgot the number one wide receiver left, Pittsburgh. I'm thinking W.
Yeah,
9-3 was my prediction from the beginning.
Yeah, if Miami plays Clemson tough and they play them within a 7-point game, a 3-point game, a 10-point game. And then they get to the last game of the season, then they have a lot of momentum, and I would give them the win with Kenny Pickett being gone. Kenny Pickett was really good, by the way, and as a college quarterback, tiny hands. But I would give them the W on that, provided that the Clemson game doesn't go so badly for them that they can't recover from next week, but I'll give them a W.
So 9-3 is what we're agreeing on. Are we saying a ACC championship, or we can't go that far yet?
Ooh,
it's too much. It's too much. You can't do that. Because we don't know. We haven't predicted the rest of the schedule, and it's just that's 2 conference losses, which to me isn't horrible, but I think they're going to be in a conference game. but I don't know who's going to be in it. So we'll kind of leave that to that. Look, I think it's a healthy little win-loss. Now, what if we're right on the 9-3, but we get it wrong? I mean, what do we get? How many points do we get for that?
No points. No
No
points.
points. All right, guys, we're going to be doing more of this. We're going to do Florida State. We'll probably break down Ohio State. If you guys have one that you really want to see, let us know. I think we had a fun time doing this. That was it was more fun than I thought it would be, actually. And you guys have good opinions about it. Everyone was kind of chimed in on it. So I think look, as football fans, we can always, gather around to talk smack and see how we're doing here. But, Steve, outside of the technical difficulties.
Yeah, my fault there. I mean, my gosh, like, who unplugged me?
Yeah, right. Look, we handled it. We buckled through it. The Steve Carell, we got him back on, buddy, for you. Great show today. Kind of an improv show per usual. What Sunday's been doing well for us. We've got a lot of people coming out, liking, supporting, becoming members, joining the club, and earning their wings. If you guys aren't part of the club, join it. You'll have a chance to be on the show. That's part of the membership and helps us kind of keep doing this and show us some love. So thank you to Cody, Tim, Shake Money for becoming members today and donating to the Super Chat. It means that you have no idea how much it means to us. We love it. We appreciate you guys.
352 Sports. We see you down there, man. We see you. You guys are all over the comments, man. We love you guys to death, man.
Real quick, too, Andrew Apple, who's a big fan of ours, who had a baby on our show this past Wednesday, he's been kind of very open about the situation he's got going on there with his son having heart issues, being in the ICU. He's having to live in Miami, I believe, or just outside of the Keys, which is where his home is at, because they don't have a doctor there. So he's spending a lot of money right now. I'm going to put a GoFundMe account to help support if you guys want to show him some love, to help him with his situation right now, to help him with him and his son. So go show some love if you guys can. And thank you, as always, for stopping by. Happy 4th. You're right, Pache. Happy 4th of July. It's the best day of the year. So that's all I mean, it's Christmas. It's America's holiday.
It's America's Christmas. Welcome to the best nation on the planet, baby. Glad to have everybody here. Shelton, my friend.
Steve. Love you, bud. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. Stay tuned. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Turn on the bell so you guys can stay tuned with us. We go live every Wednesday at 8:35, and now it's Sundays, Thursdays. Whenever the show just takes us, we go live. Be back. See you guys soon. Boogity boogity.
Turn this life into something that you can never own. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got the